Hello. Welcome back. We're doing some fill patterns with pen and ink. And for this next fill pattern, I'm going to show you how to create this fill pattern. So you can see I've created some kind of random spaces here, random mountain shaped spaces. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start by just turning my canvas just a little bit. I'm going to draw some parallel lines. I find it's easiest to pull the pen towards myself if I want to draw semi-straight lines. So you can see I'm spacing them. I'm just eyeballing it, but I want to try to space these parallel lines kind of the same distance apart. So I'm coming back, I'm going to add one more here, and that feels close. I guarantee you if I was to take a ruler that I would find that this space is probably a little bit smaller than this space, but that's okay because we're going to fill it and you won't be able to tell. Now I'm going to create some more lines. I've turned my canvas again because I want to pull these lines towards myself. And basically I want to try to imagine that I'm creating some squares here. So I'm just kind of eyeballing where these lines would need to go to make squares. On the adjacent or the parallel spaces that are right next to these, I'm going to split. So I'm looking at this square and I'm drawing a line that comes in between that square. And I'm going to make more squares all the way across this piece. I'm going to add a tiny line there. Do the same thing with the next space and all the way across this piece. So I've filled. And that's it. So I've filled that space and now I'm going to begin my fill pattern. I'm going to turn again so that these look like squares to me. I find the easiest way to go about creating this fill pattern that we're doing. So I'm going to start by, on this line, I'm going to draw a line on either side of it. So some parallel lines there. Pulling towards myself makes it a little bit easier to make them semi-straight. I'm going to do this all the way across the piece. So lines pulling towards myself on either side of those lines that I've already created. I'm going to turn my canvas again so that the other lines are kind of pointed towards me or perpendicular to me. And on either side of these lines, I'm going to draw lines until they kind of come to a place where there's another line that's where they should stop. So I'm going to do this all the way across the piece. I find that it's easiest to do, instead of individual squares, this pattern I find it's easiest to do this all the way across. In a second, I'll show you how to do just an individual square. But this way that I'm showing you right now, I find is the most efficient way to fill this space. I'm going to turn it again, and we're back to those same rules that we've kind of, maybe you've noticed already. So, excuse me, on either side of these lines, I'm just going to draw. I'm going to imagine that this line continues all the way down. Same thing here. So I'm only picking up my pen where there's kind of a break there, and I'll continue that. So if you've figured out, or if you've noticed what the pattern is with this fill pattern, then you're pretty much good to go from here. I will show you, like I said, I'm going to finish one square just so you can kind of see what that would look like. Yep. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and complete this square. And like I say, it just follows that pattern. So I'm going to draw lines go in that direction. I would say at any point with this fill pattern, you could stop. And like if I was to, let's say, I'm going to go ahead and continue this one. Let's say that I stopped here. Now, if I turn my piece and I'm looking at this, this is kind of a window where I could maybe put something. So maybe I could put a tree in here. Or not. It's just something to consider. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but maybe you like it. If you do, cool. So I'm just gonna kind of color in the space around here, like it's a tree that's got a spotlight. All right, that's the fill pattern. Thanks for watching. I'll make another one here now in just a second.